Dear all, hi everyone. Imaguru every day goes online and to stay connected with our founders, with our startups. And every Wednesday, we invite our speakers and investors from the global world to talk about fundraising practice during these uncertain times. This stream is organized with USAID support, and we will be glad to receive your questions and comments in the form below at the Facebook streaming. So guys, don't hesitate to leave your comments and questions to our guest. But before we start, let me draw your attention to Tech Minsk. Tech Minsk Accelerator calls for applications for summer batch, which will be organized online through July 21 to 31. Tech Minsk, together with its partners USAID and Google for Startups, believe that there will be more unique individuals and companies who, despite all the difficulties, believe that they will be and continue to persuade the vision and build companies that will change the world for better, and companies that will drive the new golden age. If you are among those companies, please apply for the next summer batch via techminsk.com. So if you are interested, please visit techminsk.com, fill in the application form, click apply, and get ready for this amazing and unique journey late July this year. So well, and today we host online our amazing friend who has been visiting Minsk and Global Entrepreneurship Week and Venture Day Minsk since, oh my God, 2012 or even 11. Please meet our friend Firat Isbecer. Firat, hello.
Thank you, Nastia. How are you?
Great. Firat is an entrepreneur, and you met him several times at Imaguru and at our events in Minsk. Firat is also an angel investor. So he co-founded our Positron company, a pioneer in mobile banking and payment software company that was acquired by London-based fintech company Monitise in 2014. As the managing director of Monitise, a special region, Firat oversaw the company's operations in Eastern Europe, Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa. Monitise was later acquired by US-based financial services company Fiserv in 2017, and Firat left the company and founded Comensis. Comensis builds purposeful digital transformation journeys and products for leading brands across the globe. Firat is also an active seed investor. He is a member of Galata Business Angels, Turkey's first angel investor group. He has made over 40 seed investments to date, making him one of the most active investors in Turkey. He was selected into Fortune Turkey's 40 under 40 list several times. So, Firat, we are happy to host you here online. Hope you are doing great. And probably we would start our questions and would ask about your current investment practices, whether your portfolio companies are affected by COVID-19 crisis. How do you communicate with each other, and all these insights and details?
Okay, well, thank you for the amazing introduction, as always. It's been 9 years that I've been a part of the Tech Minsk and Balbiz society, the community. It's grown really fast, and we have seen some great success stories, some acquisitions, some big investments. So I think the ecosystem, thanks to you and your team, is doing really well in mostly in Minsk, I would say, in Belarus. So of course, as an investor and also slash entrepreneur, the last couple of months have been very surprising, like for us. We've never expected anything like this to happen. So none of the founders, everybody was making a plan. They always have a B plan, or like, what if this happens, that happens, but nobody was expecting a pandemic to hit. So everything we say is not coming from a lot of experience. We are also facing this world, the new world, for the first time in our lives. I'm not old enough to go through the Spanish flu, because that was in the early 1900s. So this is the first pandemic I have ever witnessed. So the month of March and early April was incredibly pessimistic, and people were making a lot of negative plans. But one small phenomena, actually, which was triggered by this pandemic, was the resurgence of digital, which we actually were expecting, but we didn't know that was going to happen this fast. And when all the companies that have been trying to transform themselves digitally for the last 10 years, they had to accelerate the whole thing in a couple of months. So that acceleration created a lot of opportunities. And companies like ours, and also most of the companies in the TechMinsk and Imaguru ecosystem, will benefit from this. Of course, the companies I have invested, most of them were in very unfortunate areas. So one was doing a SaaS business on Airbnb, property booking software. They are not doing great, of course. One was in the tablet menu business. They are actually doing much better now, but the first 2 months, the March and April numbers, were not very encouraging. There's a second-hand car marketplace, automobile marketplace, which we invested, called Galata Business. They're also doing well, because a lot of people are ditching public transportation and moving towards car ownership. So most of these industries had a V-shaped recovery. But like other industries, like airlines, entertainment, travel, hotels, oil industry, energy, I don't think they're going to have a V-shaped recovery. It's going to be an L-shaped recovery. So as entrepreneurs and investors, we should brace for more impact. It's not over yet. The pandemic might be over, but the economical repercussions are going to hit us slowly. So I'm optimist in a way that digital is going to be much more important over the next couple of years, but I'm also pessimist that the whole world economy is going to shrink, and it's going to be creating a lot of problems.
And did you do any bridge rounds to your portfolio startups during this period?
Of course, I had to do like 6 or 7 follow-on investments, if you might call it that way. Because most of the companies had cash flow issues, especially the ones that are making less than $20,000-$30,000 a month recurring revenue. It's very difficult for them to actually, if the revenues drop by 50%, basically the business is out. If you're too small, that's good, because like if you're making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, even that disappears. You might find a way to survive, because you don't get salary, or you ask your co-founders, you pay the rent late, or move back to Imaguru or something like that. So fairly mid-size and fast-growing companies had the biggest problem, unless they are doing something in cloud and digital transformation, which might have accelerated their growth. But now it's pretty obvious which companies have benefited or not. So I think the biggest factor is that newly invested companies who hired a lot of engineers to scale, right on the scale point, they had this deep dive, which nosedive actually, which they never expected, which was the biggest problem, I think.
And what is communication mode right now with your portfolio startups? Are you communicating more frequently now than before, and how it's organized?
It's interesting, there's more than 40 startups. Well, only 30 or 25 of them are actually active. But there's been a divergence. which means that, with some group of entrepreneurs, we grew close together. We talk every day. I try to help them. They ask me for advice, and others, either they are depressed or they are very pessimistic. They don't even call their investors because they feel uncomfortable. But I think even if the things are not doing well, you need to call your investors because they might give you a very important advice, which can change the business in a way that you can actually save it. So, but like I prioritize myself with the entrepreneurs who actually wanted to stay in touch with me. Of course, I also have a business, and more than 200 people are working in my company. That was also a big priority that I had, which I could not dismiss because, it's almost 60-70% of my time besides investment. So that kind of equilibrium was the equilibrium actually I kind of created. So if you have bad news, call your investor. If you have good news, call your investor.
Exactly. So during these uncertain times, we had a lot of stories when investors made their decisions not meeting a company in person. Have you experienced these such situations in?
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest challenges of the Zoom culture. Now it's really good because most of the people you talk and you work with are the people you know in person. So until March, you know everybody in Imaguru, you know everybody in TechMinsk. What about 6 months from now? If people change, if you have to hire new people whom you've never met in person, that's going to create some kind of an alienation. And I think work from home is not going to be as efficient as it is today. And also the lockdown is helping a lot because people are so bored and they are so frustrated, they concentrate on work. But when the lockdown is eased, for example, in Turkey, there's a lot of distractions. People, go to their parents, they go back to their cities, they try to work from home, but it's not as efficient as it was during the quarantine times. But I'm not expecting everyone to work 20 hours a day, of course, but we have seen the efficiency going down. Also, the notion of master and apprentice, people who are teaching other people, who are training other people, is also in trouble because before two programmers would sit together and they would do pair programming, and the junior developer would learn a lot from the senior developer. Same with analysts, same with the designer, UX, everything, even with sales guys. But now they don't have that personal interaction, even if they do hours on MS Teams or Slack, whatever you want to do it, or Google. It just doesn't give that feeling of a master teaching something and educating their apprentice. So these are the issues that needs to be solved. So I don't think the work from home culture is going to be 100%. It will be much more, and there will be a lot of remote working after this, but it's not going to replace the office forever. Maybe in 10 years, but now people are going to come back to the office. Smaller offices. So
you're not ready to make decision without not meeting personally a startup company?
So now I think I have to make decisions in the future if I'm going to continue investing. And I don't want to meet people face to face because there's some dangers attributed. So I should learn this. I've met people online, and then the most important thing actually becomes the reference. So Nastya, do you know this guy? Let's say from Imaguru, a small startup, and you're like, yeah, we worked with them for 2 years. They're an amazing team. They have a great product. So I ask, Tanya, or I ask one of your other friends, and then I get very good feedback from the people that actually know those people. I think the culture of asking for references is going to become much more important than it is today, because we need to talk to someone that actually worked with that person.
So a good room to create a few more companies in this sphere, in solving this problem.
I think if some company can solve this, the quick reference check challenge, it's a good product idea, I think.
Yes. Interesting. Thank you. So regarding your entrepreneurial side, right? So today, many startups, they have to do complicated decisions and to do pivoting. And it's not so easy, especially for what we see in our region, in Belarus and Eastern Europe. Startups are not ready for pivoting, for failing quickly, and to try different things in very short time. What you could advise some or describe some tips and insight on how to do pivoting successfully for startup companies?
Yeah, it's now might be a good time to pivot, but it's also difficult because you need to tell the people and pitch the company again. You need to find validation. It's always difficult. Maybe if the idea is no longer valid, it's sometimes good to say, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do something else. If if travel is going to be like this, if airlines is going to be like this for the next 2 years, if you don't have the money, the resources, and the will to continue like this for the next 2 years in a very low growth environment where everything is negative, if you have the resources, do it. If you don't have the resources, think twice. Okay, I had a wonderful idea, but that was before Christ, before BC. It's like it's prehistoric now. A lot of things are prehistoric from February, so you can. Maybe you had an amazing idea with a great valuation back in February, and every night you go to bed, you're like, on February 19th, my idea was the best idea. And now it's like, it doesn't have a business model. Well, we also had some startups like that, and you have to accept the fact, embrace it. The world is different now. Even if it goes back to normal, it will be different. So February is no longer a date that validates itself for the future. It's a different world right now.
Yes, exactly. But in terms of making decisions, because, for example, your story with Positron and Monitise, when a company acquired your company, then you came back to this company and then acquisition once again. So, from this perspective, you made some. You are very flexible in making decisions, and now, and this is very good. A good point and a good way to solve these complicated questions, to be flexible, but how to be flexible and to make these quick decisions and to keep this entrepreneurial mood, I mean spirit, and also and how to be brave enough, because for most of the startup founders, they are not brave enough to to stop business, to find a new business model and try this. From your perspective, who inspires you, and how you do these flexible decisions and complicated decisions?
Well, that's a great question, which I also have to think about because it's a very good question. Well, I think flexibility is important, but focus is also quite important. When we were growing as a company, most of the things went well. Back in 2008, the global financial crisis came, and the stock market and the valuations were much worse than today. Now it's bouncing back, but back then it wasn't the case. But one thing amazing happened to us. All of our competitors in our region, they had to close their offices because they didn't have the money. They were not able to raise funding. So all these competitors from America, India, and Western Europe that were trying to expand in the Eastern Europe and the Turkish area, they just shut it down. And then we were able to gain market share. I think the key word here is the market share. As long as you are increasing your market share, as long as you still are relevant in the market, which will become a market in the future, maybe it's really terrible today, but like if it's going to be back to normal, and if you're increasing your market share, I would focus 300, 400 times, because like it's one of those golden opportunities that you without any advertising, without anything, that you can actually increase your market share much faster than a normal competitive environment. If your business no longer has a market, the product market fit is not there, then you either pivot or you shut it down. These are hard decisions to make. But if you're smart enough, maybe you can find some other need in your industry. Maybe you're building a LinkedIn for people, but now there's so many unemployed people, you just build a LinkedIn for the unemployed, just the unemployed maybe. So like these are small pivots, or like the reference products, you know, quick reference, fast reference. So like those pivots are important, and you need to have the technology, of course. I don't believe in any startup that doesn't have a strong tech team. We were really lucky with our CTO, who was also our co-founder, and our tech team, the first tech team. Belarus has a lot of talent. Also, you need the business guy, because somebody has to sell the product. But yeah, I think the market share, and if you can increase your market share, just focus.
So, but it appears that the crisis, the perfect time to increase your market share, because like you said, with your previous companies, a lot of your competitors could stop their operations, and you have this privilege and opportunity to grow. Right, thank you so much. And one more question.
Sure.
A lot of companies all over the globe now are looking for investments, because a lot of them have not very long runway period, especially in Belarus. In May, Imaguru conducted a survey supported by USAID, and we asked startups about their situation and the impact of COVID-19 on their businesses. And so a vast majority of them, they reported that like we call it red zone, so they have 3 to 6 months of cash runway left. More than 70% of startups, they feel negative effect on their, which way in fundraising mode, especially they see negative trend in fundraising process right now. What could you advise, where, when, and how fundraise and attract investment right now for startup founders?
Okay, that's also a good question. Well, if you're running out of money, and that money you run out of is going to destroy your company, then you need to find money. Okay. Right. But then the valuation, you're like, you know, you're just again thinking of February terms. Yeah, maybe your business was worth $2 million in February, and now it's just worth $1 million. Oh, deal with it. You know, accept the fact that it's now $1 million. And if you really want to raise that money, make it $500,000. Let somebody, take the risk. People are taking risk, and if you can actually trust them, and if they can trust you as well, it's okay that, you know, if they join the company with a much lower valuation, if you cannot raise with your ideal valuation. So first of all, don't be super strict about your valuations. Be flexible. Right. And if you cannot survive the company with your runway, you need to raise money. You know, having no company is better than having a cheaper company. Okay. No company is the worst scenario.
Right.
Okay. And friends and family is important here. And also, I don't know if the government is doing any loans, any grants. You can ask for government loans, EU loans. I don't know if that's applicable for Tech Minsk right now. These are like important ways to find. You have to be creative finding money. Family, friends, yourself, loans, grants, credit, everything. Like you need to actually focus on these and be super creative about fundraising. Like list down every single option. Like it includes a Kickstarter, everything. Like, you know, just don't overrule any opportunity. Do a web page, ask people on LinkedIn. It doesn't work, but like, you know, just hustle. You need to hustle to find that money.
Exactly. And by the way, you ask a very good question regarding the governmental support. What is the situation in Turkey? Does the government support startup founders, startup companies right now?
Well, it depends. If you're comparing with Germany, we don't have support.
Let's compare to Belarus.
Okay, Belarus, I think we are in a similar situation. We get very low interest rate loans, which helps, but it's still loan you have to pay back. We didn't get too many. We also got some grants on Technopark. Even if you don't go to Technopark, you get your discount, the grants. So that was really helpful, but it only lasted for 2 months. So from a scale from 1 to 10, I would give Turkey a 6. But Germany, US, they get 10 points for the support. Our entity in Germany, which is called Finbyte, which is part of the Comensis group, only has 15 employees, and the German government gave us 60,000 euros, just like that, which was very quick, extremely easy. Both the state government, the municipality, and the federal government gave us money. Yeah,
amazing. What is the situation with your current company, Comensis? Are you working remotely?
Yeah.
Are you affected by the COVID?
Yeah, everybody's affected, but since we are doing digital transformation and we have some big data products, we see the demand is rising. But I had a lot of airlines customers, which are not doing amazing. The bank customers are doing well for digital banking. The demand is right there. We haven't laid off anybody. We're still a 200 plus people organization. We did not take very harsh precautions, I would say. We were able to survive and self-sustain as a company compared to other businesses and other industries. I would say we were lucky.
So Firat, thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your thoughts. They're very useful for our founders. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to meeting you in person very soon in our new normal.
Hopefully.
Take care.
Also, thank you for your invitation. Always happy to be a part of your community. Always happy to contribute. The amazing ecosystem you built is something we really support here. So thank you to you and your team members last year.
Yes, take care and have a great time.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.